we're going to be looking at the four major points with respect to entry and exit animation. How do you avoid jump cuts between different states of any application that you're building? How do you use UI animation to show hierarchy of the elements on a particular screen? How do you use entry and exit animation in particular to reduce the user's cognitive load? And how do you use the same to show relationship between different UI elements? Now, on my screen, you see a GIF of a sample mailbox application. Computers today have become extremely fast. Mobile devices, tablets, all come packed with a lot of memory and graphic processing capabilities that it becomes easy to get carried away with the speed. Especially in applications such as Mailbox, things tend to become extremely fast when the user is trying to switch between different states. In this example, it could just as well have no animation and the user would be clicking on different items in the mailbox but would not know whether it's a new message or the old message, and it takes time to process that information. Using animation, we basically slow down the process and ease the user in understanding that, okay, you clicked on new message, the old message is going away, and the new one just slides in. The UI animation sends signals to the visual cortex of your brain that handles all the graphical processing. In fact, it's the GPU of your brain. And the advantage of doing this is you're actually educating the user and you're helping them understand without them actively thinking about it. The instant they see this kind of motion, it helps them understand what is actually happening in the app. The other advantage of using UI animation is the ability to show hierarchy, or in other words, show which parts of the application the user needs to focus first. Now, this is an example that was given from the framework Velocity.js, and it shows how easy it is to ease the user's attention through the application. Instead of showing an entire wall of UI elements, you slowly ease in and say, here's where you need to focus first. That's primary, here's the secondary portion of it, and here's the third part. Animation gives you this added capability of instructing the user on how to interact with the application in a subtle manner that helps them understand what they are interacting with. Now, I said animation helps reduce cognitive load. Now, if you look at this example on the screen, you see that the menu does not just instantly fly out. It takes its own time in terms of entry and exit. It moves in slowly and it moves out slowly. This kind of easing animation helps reduce the cognitive load. You can imagine how confusing it could be for the user if clicking on the menu just automatically populated the entire screen with a totally different UI, totally different look and feel. The user would be completely lost. Now, the other advantage is using animation, you can easily show the relationship between different items on the screen. Here's an example of a variety of different screens and how you could possibly animate them. The advantage with animation is if you provide the same animation to items that belong to the same group, it becomes easy to process that information. Really, in each of these screens, what we are trying to do is say a certain bunch of these UI elements all perform similar actions and they go together. And it becomes really easy to show these kind of relationships using UI animation. In this chapter, we saw how you should avoid jump cuts. We saw why you should avoid jump cuts. We saw how you could show hierarchy between different elements in the interface. We saw how you could reduce cognitive load for the users. And we saw the relationship between different UI elements and how you can enhance that aspect using UI animation.